So when thinking about the research that I have to take into account and consideration throughout the whole planning stage, there's the primary stage, primary research and secondary research. So the primary research would be me actually going out finding the research myself at hand, as opposed to secondary research, which would be general research using already existing forms of research, whether it be through online, whether it be in terms of the internet, whether it be through documented information at libraries, whether it be through any forms of publication, even word of mouth, for example. That they're still forms of research. So the research that I've been doing for the crime genre based itself around the audience, as with the type of audience ratio in terms of gender and age between each film. So for example, I looked at the website statista.com, and this tells you about the cinema audience throughout the United Kingdom in 2014. So this bases around gender and age. So from what you can actually see here, when we consider our audience, it would mainly be between 18-year-olds to men in their 40s. So we'd like to say 15 in this case to 44. This is the majority of the cinema viewers, so therefore the audience is much wider, and throughout all of them, males are either equal to or more in terms of the size of the audience members. So for 15 to 24-year-olds, 15% of the audience are males and 13% are females. So this shows that a large proportion of the audience of this age go to the cinema, which would be truly beneficial if for our film in this viewing stage. Now, due to the primary audience being male, the figures show that there are more males between the age who go to the cinema, and the secondary audience of females, they may also prefer this type of film depending on who they are, who they go to the cinema with, as with their overall preference of the genre. 25 to 35, I'd say that would be a more mature age, and still 10%, that's still a large quantity when you consider it, which is certainly beneficial, bearing in mind that I'd say a more frequent amount of audience members would be between this age. So far 18 to 34 is more dominant, 9% for 35-year-olds to 44-year-olds of the male audience, which again is very similar. So throughout this, with the 34% of male audience members, if 10% of them were to like the film, were to like the genre, bearing in mind the range of genres that are actually released in cinemas each year, that's a significant part of the actual audience. I'm sure a lot of females will also like this film, as the film has a USP, as we'll mention famous cast members who the females may actually feel enlightened to actually watch due to their reputation and possible attraction to them, if possible. Now, I went onto the IMDb website just to look at a few crime films, and I picked 3 which I feel, I mean there are a lot that are very popular, but I feel these films, as they are more modern in terms of their release date, even though one was once dated to the 1990, they're still very much in popularity today. So the films that I chose are The Departed, Goodfellas, and American Gangster. I could have chosen a lot of crime films, but I feel that, bearing in mind a more young audience, they would probably prefer to watch these type of films, as they may be deemed as faster and more action-packed, which is possibly what they prefer. So on the IMDb website for The Departed, there are 795,489 voters who voted for the rating of the film, and the rating is 8.5. So when I look in greater detail, I'm able to identify that males, they actually rated the film higher, bearing in mind that this film has large amounts of violence within it. So males, for the average, was 8.5, females 8.4, aged under 18, 8.9. So when you consider the amount of audience members who may be under the required age to actually watch the film. Out of the 795,489, there were 5,238, which is quite a significant sum, bearing in mind that they're not actually legally allowed. They're not actually meant to watch the film if they were to watch it in the cinema. So now, when I look at aged 18 to 29, there's 358,497, which is pretty much half of the overall amount. From this, as this film is a very popular film in the crime genre, I'm able to identify that the main audience would be between 18 to 29. Again, a very large sum overall for males aged 30 to 44, which is in the 200,000s. And overall 246,000 when you consider the 31,623 with the females combined. So from that, I'm able to identify that there are still a large amount of females who would watch the film. So just saying that males would watch it due to them being a primary audience, that's not true. So as a whole, there were 94,338 females who voted. Even though it is significantly smaller, that's still almost 100,000 voters, which is very significant. So females do have an interest, even though males do take up the most ratings. Now, going on to the second film, Goodfellas, there are 69,266 ratings overall, with 493,141 ratings overall from males and 58,827 from females. Again, a higher rating from the males, as they prefer this type of genre, as with the overall combination involvement of illegal content and explicitness. Age under 18 was rated the highest with 9 for the overall rating, and there are 3,592 males as opposed to females with 426. Already, males under the age of 18, they would watch this film, so they are much more likely to actually watch the film. So maybe it's hard to say. We could maybe make the film 15, but that may affect the more popular type of ratings, which are shown as 30 to 44 with the 200,000 mark. Point. So, because some people, they may watch a film, they're more likely to watch a film because they know that it's aimed towards them, as opposed to someone who, like, if a film was a PG, I personally doubt that a lot of people who are 18 would want to watch it due to it being classed as PG, so maybe it's not suited for them, even though they are allowed to watch it. So again, from this, males are the highest level of contributors throughout, but again, there are so many females who are voting, so they want to watch this film. A lot of them, they would love to watch this film, even though they didn't rate it as high. There is still a large amount of females who want to watch it. So again, we could involve, if it was an actual film, elements of romance, elements of even more sexual themes that a woman would like, more explicitness possibly rating to males, because even though it is mainly aimed at males, and a lot of these type of films show content in which maybe of a sexual nature, of showing naked females, or just women who are exposed, there may be a side element for females to enjoy. And finally, for American Gangster, there are 310,386 votes overall, 246,500 from males and 23,213 from females. So again, there are many more from the males, but still there is around a tenth from females. So what does this tell us about the audience? On average, 90% males, 10% females. So the females do have an interest in it. Yes, it is a male-driven audience, but women enjoy the film. And the age range, mainly between 18 and 29-year-olds, that's the highest number. So, as opposed to aged 30 to 44 and 30 to 44 between males and females throughout. So, as a whole, the most popular age range, let's have a quick look here. So far, it's 18 to 29-year-olds between all of them. Between them all so far. 18 to 29, okay. So overall, from what I'm able to tell from this, it's mainly aimed for 18 to 29-year-olds. So the type of content that they would like, referring to the genre, it does vary between these films. As when I actually searched which genres they include, in The Departed it came with thriller, crime film, drama film, and adventure film. Goodfellas came up with crime film, drama film, thriller, and biographical film. And American Gangster, as it's based on true story, even though Goodfellas is based on true story, this is more recent. I think it's more recognised as a whole within the actual film. So it comes up with gangster film, drama, war film, crime fiction, biographical film, true crime, historical period drama, and crime thriller. So throughout, the most dominant genre, the most frequent genres that appear are thriller, crime film, and drama films. So I'll research what conventions these have,